Hi, and welcome to another episode of Nursing Your Way to Wealth, where a mental health nurse and an accountant talk about wealth creation, personal development, and financial independence in the UK to help you live the life you deserve.
Hello and welcome back. It's episode 93, which we're going to talk about sabbaticals from work. So, briefly, a sabbatical is generally regarded as an extended period of time off. Normally, the employers I've worked for suggest it's kind of 2 weeks or longer. For me, a sabbatical is kind of a month plus, ideally 3, possibly 6. Depends on where you go. The reason we kind of discuss this is because Alex, the accountant, has organised himself a sabbatical to happen in late 2026. So we thought we'd just put our heads together and talk about A, why, and B, how he's enabled himself to do that. But before I pass to Alex for that, just a quick return on heartbeats from me this week, which is rare. It normally seems to be you doing return on heartbeats, but this one I guess is mine. I travelled into London by train last Saturday to look at some suit fittings for my brother's wedding coming up in September. And as part of that, his best man is a military chap in the RAF. And he said at 1 o'clock, can we stand somewhere open and green? Because there's the Royal Air Force flyover of helicopters and planes for the King's birthday. And I was like, all right, we can do that, no problem. But it was great. There were initially 3 humongous Chinook helicopters, and they're flying really low, like over the city. And then there were 2 what he called transport planes, like absolutely massive looking things. And he was giving us all these names as well and what they're for and where they're used. It was really good. So there was that, and then there was another transport plane accompanied by 2 fighter jets, and then finally the Red Arrows went over and they turned their smoke on right as they were above our heads, which was great. And I didn't expect it. I wasn't aware that it was happening whatsoever. But loads of people were just standing outside watching them fly over. So it was a really surreal experience. Like, imagine being the king and just for, I don't know, 60 seconds of your birthday, people are like, look up, we've arranged this flyover of all these aircraft for you.
That is really cool. And funnily enough, so I was also in London on Saturday. I went to the theatre and we got into the Waterloo about 1:15, and then we walked over like Waterloo
Mhm.
Bridge as the flyover was going. And so we were on the bridge.
Oh, nice.
Complete fluke. But yeah, we saw the same thing. And yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
you were
So
there.
we went to the theatre, but yeah, ended up walking over the bridge, basically coinciding with the flyover. So that was really, yeah, it was really cool.
That's crazy. Like, you walk over there 2 minutes earlier, 2 minutes later,
Mm.
and you miss
Yeah,
it.
because we saw the Chinooks go past. I thought, oh, I just wonder what, because you
Yeah.
see them quite a few times. Oh, I've seen them quite a few times just like going through London. So I thought they might just be going through. But then, yeah, went across the bridge and then, yeah, saw the cargo planes, the fighter jets, the Red Arrows. It was like, it was amazing.
Yeah, weren't they good? And like weirdly as well, we've been in the same city, probably less than a mile apart, without either of us knowing as well.
Yes, because you were German Street, right?
Yeah, yeah, we went a couple of places in the
Yeah,
city for suit measuring and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, because I was Covent Garden way, or like Leicester Square
yeah. I
for
walked I walked through Leicester
the
Square and into
theatre.
Covent Garden for my brother to pick up
Oh
a pair of
wow.
shoes from Paul Smith's as well.
Oh
How
yeah,
strange. So actually, as I was saying at the beginning, normally they're yours. This is a shared return on heartbeats. We both enjoyed the flyover for the king.
we did. Yeah, how random.
Yeah, very odd.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll pass to you. So for sabbaticals, I might just interject and ask you some questions. But firstly, why make the decision?
So I think for me, so it's been quite a long. So I've been working since I was 16. I'm in a solid position now where I'm almost at that coast fi position. And I always thought, well, if I get to that point, I basically don't need to put another penny away. And what I really want to prioritize is time and spending time with my wife and spending time with my family and doing some traveling, especially over the past few years, which have been just been in and out of hospital a lot and stuff. So I think for me, it was that get out of the daily grind because I know without ever making a decision to do something like this, you're never, your life will just continue and then, you know, it very quickly goes away. And so I wanted to make a informed and carve out some time to have, yeah, so this will be 3 months that I'm doing from August down to the end of October. Uh, and really looking forward to it. Looking forward to not having to wake up on a Monday morning, get into an office, like have to sit at my desk and be on call for emails. None of all that stuff goes away, and I can focus on spending time traveling around the world, spending time with my wife, going back up to Leeds, spending time with friends and family that I don't see very often. And it's just that kind of nice halfway point in career to just take a bit of time for me. And yeah, so that's kind of my main motivations for doing it really is just and also a bit of a trial of early retirement and what that might look like.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I like kind of the testing the water before retirement, but at the same time, it's you've been working 21 years, and that's a long time, right? If you started at
Yeah.
16, yeah, and we're now 37.
Yeah. And it's just like, done. I was looking back and it's like, so I obviously did my undergrad degree, I then did a master's degree, I then did my the graduate scheme, trained to be an accountant. I then went to work in a consultancy firm. I then went to work and do my treasury qualification, worked in treasury. I wrote a book. I'm now like work where I do. It's just like it's been quite a lot. And so I think it's just about, and then plus, on the side, I've been scribbling away some funds. I'm in a good position with my retirement. So as my wife, we're in a really solid position because my wife is also going to take some time out as well. So we're going to have, so she's going to take about 6-7 weeks of a sabbatical towards the end of September, towards beginning of September. So middle of September to end of October, she'll have off, and I'll have August into middle of September, plus then to the end of October. So it's a nice, and we both feel the same.
Yeah, it makes sense. And when you think about it, like that, you're heavily qualified in your field. Those those qualifications are someone just doesn't give you like a treasury qualification or like your graduate scheme or anything like that. It's their heavy kind of thing. So it's what I'm hearing as a result is just it's an awful lot of mental effort
Yeah.
for a consistent amount of time. I'm not sure humans are designed for that.
Yes.
To be honest with you, to like put yourself under that pressure, stress, and strain for so long, like you can almost understand why people get unwell kind of moving forwards. And I'm be really interested to learn how you've carved that out. I know kind of bits of finances and like you put loads into your pension, and now we've discussed before about you being post-fi, so you'd have to put any more into your pensions. They'll just grow over time and give you a good retirement. But also this is not like you didn't have this decision last week, did you? You probably had it a couple of years ago, and then have decided to make these determined decisions to allow this to be an option. Because to be honest, I don't know anyone who's our age who's actually had a planned sabbatical. There's a difference between that and a job loss and just taking 3 months to find new employment. Do you know anyone else that's had a sabbatical like this that's not you?
I don't. I know one of my friends. He took a not necessarily a sabbatical, but he took like 6 months out. But he like quit his job and then but was in a solid position to do so. It was his decision to leave, and he took 6 months out. I think I mentioned him on the podcast before. But yeah, and I had one of my other friends. He took a year out, but kind of when he was a bit younger.
Yeah, but by choice.
Yes, yeah. And so he was like, yeah, so he was still like lived with his, so he worked for a bit in Zurich on like a grad program, finished that, did a year, and then went traveling for a year, but like based himself at his parents' house. So he had and he didn't have children, and he does now, and he's got a wife. So it's all very different life stages. But yeah, that's a couple of my friends have done it. But yeah, I don't, other than that, I don't know anybody else that has.
No, I mean, I don't think it's a rare thing, isn't it? I think normally, if I said to someone in my workplace, I'm just going to take 3 months off, they'll be like, Are you okay? Like, are you physically well? What's going on? Are
Mm,
you going to be all right? But now, actually, you don't have that. You don't have to worry about those things because you've done a lot of the prep and the planning. And part of the tagline of this podcast is like to make work optional, and you've
yeah.
you've done that for a period of time, um, as a almost a practice run for perhaps permanent optionality in terms of work. And I'll be super interested to hear about how that goes. Um,
Mm.
does it go as you expect, or did it go as you expect? Did it not? What did you learn about yourself? Are you then going to replan kind of your pathway to retirement? Do you want to speed it up, slow it down? How, like, what does it look like for you? Um, yeah, so start with like kind of conversation with your employer. I suppose they're not just going to be like, we're going to offer out sabbaticals here. You must have approached them, right?
Yeah, so there is a policy at my work. So they do offer a sabbatical policy, but they're like few and far between given out. So it took about to probably the end towards the end of last year, I started to like plant the seed that I wanted to take some kind of extended time out. And obviously they know what happened with my wife and everything gone through with that. And because I worked all the way through like her treatment and everything, that bought me a lot of credit with my employer. And so I was kind of using that. I use that, and that is one of my main reasons I also want to do it. Is it's like it's been bloody hard work and not very pleasant, and now it's about taking that time. And so I kind of planted the seed probably towards the end of last year. I went on holiday, so we did a trip to Malaysia, and then I came back from that. I was like, right, I definitely am going to just go for this sabbatical thing. Got the details of the policy, worked it out how many days I could have, and the nature of my work is there's quite a few peaks and troughs with the way that our work comes through, and so we get quite busy at this time of year. It then kind of lulls August, September, then starts to ramp up again in October through to Christmas. And so I've positioned this as I'll be gone. Kind of the big kind of forecast that we do is kind of basically at the end of July that process finishes, and so I'll have finished broken the back of that. It'll basically be done, and then I go off. But I'll be back in time for when the kind of the next forecast then comes out for the following year. So I'll be here at the key times. I'll be basically gone when it's not actually that busy anyway. And then kind of that was my proposal. So my proposal was to go for the full 3 months, knowing that they could always come back and negotiate that down. Um, and so yeah, but they were completely supportive, and then it was quite as simple. I just need to get like formal email approval and then send that through to HR, and then you just have to accept that you obviously don't get paid, and so you just acknowledge that you know that you're not going to get paid for it. Um, and then because we also get like share options, like the vesting schedule of that gets shifted by the amount of time that you're off. So I won't have any shares vesting whilst I'm on leave, which I knew about, and I've also timed my shares vesting basically 2 weeks before I go on sabbatical. So I get a lump of shares in Amazon for that. So that's a big part of my kind of compensation. So that's timed well as well.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Will those? I might have misheard you, but will you be able to sell those in July, then right before you go?
I can, but I won't need to. I just
Oh,
hold them.
okay.
I just hold them in an account. But I like to know that it's being invested, so then it's my money.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, from what I've heard, you've had the idea, you've solidified the idea from a kind of a holiday to Malaysia with a fresh head outside. I'm just thinking slightly differently at that point. Come back,
Yeah, yeah,
you've read the policy probably twice to understand your employer's point of view. You've then thought about it in terms of actually, I could step away without anything dramatic going sideways between this date and this date.
yeah.
Pitched it to them, and they'll see that you've thought about it. You're not asking to just dip out at a huge, busy time. You've looked at it and said, actually, I could just disappear here for a little bit while it's less busy. Let the rest of the team handle these things, and then I'll be back again when it ramps back up. So what was that negotiation like? Did they alter any of your terms or say like no to any of it, or were they just like okay?
Yeah, they were just like, yeah, they were fine with it.
Did you expect it?
I did. I think
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. Well, I would say I was like 90% sure it was going to go ahead. Um,
Yeah, those are reasonable odds, aren't they?
yeah, so I wasn't, because I think I'd done a lot of the groundwork before I got there. So they were like expecting it when I proposed it anyway. So it wasn't out of the blue.
Yeah. No, you've planted seeds, you've understood the needs of the business and the policy, etc., and you've put together a reasonable
Yeah.
pitch, a reasonable suggestion, right? That actually, when you were discussing kind of how you've arranged it, I was thinking that you're kind of slowly removing their ability to say no,
Mm,
um, in terms of how, like, yeah, that you fully understood it, etc. And I guess like you've worked for Amazon for like how long? Many years.
3.5 years now. Yeah.
Okay. So you've not been there 2 months and be like, you know what, guys, I need a 3 month
Exactly.
sabbatical.
Yeah.
you've
Yeah.
been there, you've been there an extended bit of time. They know like your skill set and your value to them. And there's a time I think to pitch it. Like if you pitch it super early,
Mm,
then it's gonna be seen one way or another, as well. So I think that plays a role in it, and that you fully understood. Like the fact that they have to remind you, like Alex, you're not going to get paid if you're not going to be here. Like that they have to remind you of that. I think is quite funny.
yeah.
That perhaps people will be like, "Well, I'm on 3 months," and you ring HR after a month, be like, "Where's my paycheck? What are you talking about?" But as you've planned it, right, so you don't need that income.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if your costs will go down.
Well, it's interesting. So like coming on to how I've like started to plan it and how much it's going to cost. So there's, I know that I've got I know that we've got like my mortgage I need to pay. So I know that that's a fixed amount. And we also put in, me and my wife, like a certain amount every month into like a joint account, which is like we call our floats. So out of that comes like the council tax and like it's a portion of saving up for a holiday. It's like phone bill, TV, stuff like that. And so I know that those are going to still be going out. And then I've got some other amounts. So like I know that I've got health insurance, an income protection insurance, my haircut. I've got like a dentist appointment that's going to happen in between my sabbatical, which is always expensive. And then obviously the podcast fees, so that we pay for the use of the Caspian to do the editing and for the use of TriCast. So all of those are in. And then I normally have got like it's like my monthly credit card bill. So that credit card bill is just like we put all of our spend on that. So groceries, my travel into work. So what I've assumed is basically all those stay the same as they are now. So but I won't be traveling to work, which is usually it's between £250 a month roughly. But I kind of figure I'll probably spend some more money on like that. Some of that will be replaced by I'll have a day out somewhere, or I might be eating out a bit more. So I kind of figure it's going to net to about the same. And then I've also just,
Yeah, you might start a new painting hobby, buy loads of canvases and art.
yes, that's it. So I've kind of, and I've put that in, and I've just added a bit of a buffer for other spend. And so for that, for the 3 months just on that, would be about was it £7,100? Would be the cost of that. But that keeps me the mortgage in, and there's a bit of buffer in there for um, paying off the like for going out a bit more and having experiences.
Yeah, and just unexpected stuff, right? I'd always like if you're thinking about this, do your figures, like do your maths, and then probably round it up or add 10%, I suppose, to cover some flow. Because sometimes stuff will happen that you're not
That's it.
like you don't expect because it's literally unpredictable. So
Yeah,
of course you planned it exceptionally well. Um, yeah, and it makes a lot of sense because you don't know, like you don't want to have the sabbatical and not be able to do anything or go anywhere if it costs money. Because if you haven't factored that in, like being at home all the time would be probably like a different experience for it to say instead of you deciding actually there's I don't know there's an open day for somewhere and you're going to go there, and you've allowed some,
Exactly.
like, obviously traveling, food, sustenance, etc. You want to be able to enjoy it, not just sit at home reading books because you can't afford anything extra.
Yeah, precisely. And that's what, and another thing I'm thinking is with our food. So we normally go to like Aldi for our supermarket shop, but now I have more time and I really enjoy cooking and I like doing all the food prep, but it's now we have more time, it's better to invest. And maybe we'll try do a shop in one of the more expensive supermarkets or find a deli and like buy slightly, so our grocery bill might go up for those few months whilst we enjoy the food a bit more, whilst we're then not kind of in the work mindset. Um, but we've also booked a trip, so we're actually going to go to Asia for a month, and so we're going to go to South Korea for 2 weeks and then on to Vietnam for 2 weeks before flying back. Um, and so we've got some kind of we've been saving up jointly into a separate pot. So this is partly coming from one is the freed up money from the solar panels because we don't have a higher electricity bill as before, but also from our lodgers that we've had. So we've got a little bit of money um, saved in a joint account. So that's gonna most of that will go to funding our trip. So we've booked our flights and we've booked our accommodation in South Korea, and we are still to book our accommodation in Vietnam, and then there'll be some spending money, so that'll be probably about 7,500 for that trip, um, and that's flights London to South Korea, South Korea to Vietnam, Vietnam home, and then nice accommodation and a decent amount of spending money. But that will kind of the kind of home spending money will then come down because the there won't be any grocery bill for 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 home.
No, and less electric, less gas. You're not going to use it. Your mortgage will remain, obviously,
That's
but
it. Yeah. So I think that kind of is a bit of, but that's covered kind of pretty much separately from our some of our joint savings that we've been putting away. So
yeah,
that's kind of been taking care of itself over the last couple of years. And so I've kind of got my yeah, the way I've been approaching this is I have my emergency fund. It just kind of sits there. I've just been adding money every month on top of that, probably for the last, like seriously, for probably the last kind of 7 months ish. I've been doing that and just building it up to get to a point where I know how much I need to have before I then go on sabbatical to one allow me to buy to pay for my to cover the mortgage and get the bills done and everything, and then also cover the holiday, the amount that's not getting covered by the joint. So it's kind of, and then once that will also then leave me with my kind of like 3 month emergency fund.
yeah. Can I just ask you another question around it? So, firstly, I find it fascinatingly lovely that part of your solar panels are saving you money that you're then putting towards a holiday, which is great
Yes.
because that's a real good return on. Like, yes, you can save some money per month, but the experience of traveling for a month to two different countries is going to be amazing.
Yep.
And it's almost paying you back in a real sense instead of you saving kind of 40, 50, 60 pounds a month. I mean, I've made those up, it could be different, on like those general gas and electric bills. You're turning that into like a lovely holiday, but that means you've had to intentionally do something with that money. If you'd left it just sitting in your current account and then I don't know, you're going in and out of work or something and you're like, ooh, that thing looks nice or that lunch looks nice, I'll buy that because you've got some extra cash. But what you've done is save it over that long period of time and then you've turned it into something great.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the things where, and I think both me and my wife are seeing this now. It's like this is actually like having lodges in, and we're still paying. We still put money off to overpay the mortgage and stuff, and
Hmm.
we still invest. So still doing all of that. It's just that some of that is now we've reduced that slightly to help pay for some of the time away. But we see it as such a good investment as something so to have 3 months off to rest, recharge, see an amazing part of the world, spend some like for example, we've booked to go. We go up to Leeds to see my parents on the first week I'm off. Or we got probably a week and a half with them. But we're going on to do a hike in the Yorkshire Dales on a Wednesday. But, oh well, it's about 2.5 hour. It's about a 2 hour drive for my parents to get there. Why don't we see if there's a hotel? We found a really good B&B, so we've booked a B&B on a Wednesday night. Oh no, the Thursday night. Sorry, so it's Thursday into Friday. Then we've then pegged on another walk. An iconic walk around the Yorkshire Dales. So we've got two walks side by side, a nice stay in a hotel in between that on on a Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, and it just enables you
Yeah.
to do these things, because a Thursday night hotel is very different to a Saturday night
Yes.
hotel. And then with that money that you probably save going in a weekday, it will probably get you a lovely dinner in the hotel or the pub.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, it's at no extra cost to you, because you're just going at a different time.
Yeah.
Like, you would have spent it if you're going on a Saturday, probably more. And because you're going in a less busy time, that they give you better rates. So there's that. Like, these things do reduce your general spending just by you being flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we're on the lookout now for like hotel breaks and stuff. Like, you can get some random days around the UK that they offer and just see what comes up and be a bit more flexible around it. But I think it's kind of leading to, it's very real now of, oh, cool, we're actually going to have this time and we've got the means to do what we want with it. And that is going to be.
Yeah, and it's not fictitious. It's not like one day I would love to do that, or my pipe dream would be to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you've had the idea, you've done a lot of intentional movements in kind of with your money, a lot of planning, some meticulousness there, which I'd expect nothing less from you, to be honest. If you said to me, I don't know the answer to this math question. Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, who are you? What's going on? Yeah, exactly. I don't know about my mortgage. Toss a coin. But yeah, no, that's just not who you are, right? You're the optimizer, right? So you think about how you, like, what you want to do. Last year, you're like, actually, I want to take a sabbatical. Okay, I need to get from point A to point B. Let's start building that. Then it's discuss with your employer. It's plan your finances. It's arrange so your wife can have some time off as well. Like, imagine you having 3 months off and she's just going to work.
I know. Yeah,
that's a whole different story.
It is. Yes.
And it's not fun, right? So like join the two of them together, and actually you raise a really good point. That actually your life will cost less. Like, yes, the holiday that you're having is expensive, but you're just spending some of the money that you would have spent living in England normally, and you're just spending it somewhere else. So you're going to have your fixed bills for your house, but then the variable stuff is going to be very, very small. Like, yeah, in comparison. So
yeah, there's no supermarket shop, there's no trains in England or anything. It's like, yeah. So I think it'll work out. It should work out nicely. But yeah, I think just it's a good thing to just learn and test it and learn about myself, learn about what it might look like. And it could be actually this is a change in it. It might be, you know what? I'm really happy to just go and I'll carry on working and I'll actually just spend more on other stuff rather than invest. Or it might be, right, I'm quitting my job, we're selling the house, and this is it. This is this is the change. You know, well, yeah, who knows? But I think that's also what I'm quite looking forward to. But I think also just to have some time, like the simple living, slow living, not having to rush around and fit time box absolutely every part of your day so that you're optimized around your work. So that's what I'm also looking forward to.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Like, we spoke last week about kind of the chemicals involved in the brain when you're at rest and relaxation, and you're actually going to have an extended period of that. And I wonder just how well you're going to feel when you come back.
Yeah,
because I think a lot of it's probably true for both of us, but also the majority of working people is they just feel constantly under some sort of strain and pressure all the time.
Yeah.
And when you finally have a little bit of a gap, like you have a 7-day holiday or 5-day holiday, a weekend or something, the first few days are brilliant. And then the last day you're like, oh God, I know what's coming now, and I don't really love it.
Yeah.
So it'll be super interesting to realize, actually, do you miss work?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Will you go back to it? Will you change this path. Like, imagine when you come back and we're like, okay, episode 109, we're both quitting the fire thing and we're just going to do this instead.
Yeah, that's
I don't think that will come about, but it'll be super interesting to see if it changes your plan, because actually we've both been on this path for quite a long time. I've never had a 3 month sabbatical. I've had a month off work where I was just in between jobs and I was waiting for a DBS. And I just stayed at home. Like, I visited my family a bit, didn't go on holiday anywhere. That didn't really change my plan. I was like, actually, this is quite nice. I'd like to make this almost permanent, so it almost reinforces the idea.
yes.
But I do wonder whether you'll be like, actually, I'm really bored after 2 or 3 weeks. I don't think you will be. I really don't. But it'd be super interesting to see if you double down on the plan and you continue going, or it changes slightly. You take your foot off the gas a bit, and you allow a little bit more flexibility in terms of spending or less investing, and put that money somewhere else.
Yeah.
And where do you put it and why?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's quite, yeah. I'm also looking forward to realizing what that might look like, as well. But my gut says it'll more just reinforce my thinking. But seeing, I think what is even now is it's done quite, it's done wonders for me, I think, because I just see work now as much more of a you're just a facilitator to allow me to do this, rather than almost being so wrapped up in the role and the job and having too much stress. It's like I honestly can't wait to I'll leave on at the end of July, and then like Monday morning I don't have to be anywhere. and
No, yeah. What's that like? Because your body's normally like, okay, got to go, got to walk to the train, got to be here at a time. I've got to get to into the office by X.
yeah,
I wonder if your brain will be like, what's going on? We should be on a train now. Like, why is this abnormal
yeah.
stuff going
Why
on?
haven't you packed up your lunch
Um,
already? It's 7 o'clock.
yeah, yeah. What do you mean you haven't chosen what you're going to have for
Yeah.
lunch in advance? Um, yeah, so I wonder if there'll be a few days of you just readjusting back to that.
Mm,
Um, and it'll be very interesting. And you said to me before we hit record, you've got like less than 30 days, 30 working days to go.
yeah. 28 working days until because I've
Yeah,
got next week off, and then yeah, I've got 5 weeks and the rest of this week to go until I'm yeah,
yeah, you're off for a bit, and you can almost hear it. You can hear it in your voice.
yeah.
Um,
I'm ready for it, I think.
yeah, because if you think about, like, you've worked 21 years almost solid, and a lot of people that they get through their life, and we're very much like almost mid-career. People say that your
Yes,
highest earning years are what, your 40s and your 50s or so.
40s
I
and
mean,
50s. Yeah,
that may be so, but do you really want to be still pushing it that hard when you get to that age? I mean, when you're 40, it's a reasonable idea that you've lived half your life if you live to 80.
yeah,
When I think about when people ask me, um, kind of either how old I am or something, or like a new person at work or whatever, I'll always say that I'm halfway to what, double my age.
mm.
Um, and they're always like, "Oh, that's a weird way of putting it." And I'll say, "Look, I've got, I don't know, 20 good summers left where I can be physically active and do stuff." And they're like, "Oh, don't put it like that," because it makes you think about like how many you have remaining. Because if we think about, like, fortunately, we're both 37, turning 38 at some point. For me, in July. If I think about if I want to climb a mountain or go on this double walk thing with a hotel gap that you're doing, like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that when I'm 55 plus.
Yeah,
Maybe not. I don't know. Can I do it now? Absolutely. Can I do it at 45?
yeah,
Probably. Could I do it at 50, 55? Well, you don't know. You might have to do one, not both days. So I always think about, like, is it a good use of time? And I really feel like for you, considering what all the planning you've gone into to make it happen, but also all of last year for both you and your wife, I think it's absolutely a great use of your time.
yeah,
I'm insanely jealous of both of you being able to go on a 3 month sabbatical, 100%. But at the same time, like, you've planned it, you've arranged it, you've put in the work and the sacrifice. So 100%. Like,
yeah. And I almost I don't feel guilty at all about spending the money either, which is something that I'm quite surprised about. Because you almost
did
you can like build up an amount, and it's like, oh, well, now I've got it. Should I spend it and all this? It's almost like, no, this is ring fence for that, and I am almost a bit of mental accounting, but like no, that's mine to spend on my time, and that's what I'm buying.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've intentionally decided that this is what we're going to do and we think this is worth it. And have you ever taken a holiday and come back and be like, yeah, not worth it. Wish I had the money.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it. And I don't think I'll ever.
Like I've never.
I won't look back in 10 years' time and think, oh, if only I hadn't have taken that 3 months out. I don't think that's going to be the case.
You're not going to factor into your wildest dreams, is it? You're never going to think, oh, I regret doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, I wish I would actually just still doing my reporting, like with like report writing when I was on my sabbatical touring around Vietnam. But
Yeah. Like,
yeah, I doubt that's going to happen.
no, like imagine when you're going up the mountain, right, with your wife, and you've got like a lovely hotel and dinner coming back to you, and you're like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. Oh, actually, I wish I was in this
Yeah,
meeting, and I wish I was writing this report for someone else because they've sent me 2 emails this morning
yeah,
about it. I just don't think those are going to factor. You're going to be like, this is lovely. The natural world is
yeah,
great. You're with the person you love the most, going up an idyllic mountain somewhere. Just really taking all the benefits of the work you've put in already. Like you front loaded the work, and now you get to enjoy the ongoing time.
yeah. That's a perfect way of yeah, perfect way of putting it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got any other thoughts on sabbaticals, arranging, organising, or do you want me to do to pitch to you a reasonable or ridiculous for this week?
Yeah, so I know I don't have anything else to comment on. I would say if there's any listeners out there that have done a sabbatical or have got feedback or are thinking of doing it, then yeah, please let us know. But I think the proof will be in the pudding when in at the end of October.
Yeah, and you like phone me from somewhere. You're like, yeah, guess what? Change your plan. Sold a house in England. Going to live in Vietnam. We'll have to adjust the timing for the podcast because I'm now some hours ahead of you.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, imagine but what a lovely opportunity to even test the water. Yeah, and actually, yeah, good
Yeah.
idea. If you're on sabbatical, right, where you want to come and talk to us about a sabbatical, by all means, you can do that. Just send us an email and we'll make it happen. Yeah. So just moving to
Reasonable or ridiculous?
So on Saturdays, went to London for some soothings for my brother. I had the mission when I went there as well, just to try on, the really fancy shoe shops in Jermyn Street, like the Northampton-based brands. I've wanted a really good pair of black Oxford shoes. Now, I don't own any black shoes whatsoever, so I thought I'd have a look when I went in there. And I went into 4 different stores, and there are Loke, Churches, Cheney, Crockett, Jones, all within the same kind of street. They're very close together. And I was like, well, I'll just try some on. And I ended up trying about 6 different pairs of shoes. And I worked out the retail of these, and they'd retail for north of £3,500, which is half a month-long holiday to Vietnam and the other country you said, South Korea, yeah, which is a bit mental when you think about it for 6 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Or you can have a month-long holiday. That's like, yeah, or 2-week holiday. That's crazy. So anyway, I tried these on. All the sizing are different, like widths and lengths. And my idea was note down all my sizes, and then look for a lightly used or second-hand pair, because A, they're horrendously expensive, and B, I don't know if I can justify that. I was honest with the salespeople when I said, look, I can't justify £900 on a pair of Churches or whatever. Can I just get sized for like 5 minutes of your time? And then I'm going to look either at the factory stores in Northampton where they sell slightly like marked shoes, or someone's put the wrong size in or something for half off. And I've also been looking at kind of eBay and other kind of second-hand shoe places. But is that a reasonable idea, or do you think it's not worth the effort just to go in and buy the new pair?
It's interesting because I think my when you're looking at those kind of shoes, so I guess they're what I'd say is like an investment shoe. Like it's something that you will buy it and then you probably will never need another shoe like that because it'll last you forever. And so I think it is a big investment. And I know that some of the sizing, for whatever reason, sizes aren't consistent on pretty much anything. So if you're going to be spending, because even a second-hand pair or a factory shop pair is still going to be probably multiple hundreds of pounds, then
Yeah.
I think if you're in London anyway, then I think it's a really reasonable thing to do to just go and get your size properly done when in the context of, when it's multiple hundreds of pounds for a pair of shoes. Because then I get it, and also you're there anyway. The other alternative is you order shoes from all these different places. You probably order 4 or 5 different pairs. You have to pay for them and then get a refund when they don't, when you've got to send them back, get your refund when they don't fit. There's a lot of trial and error, a lot of headache. I think it's what you've done is take a lot of that trying and thinking out of it. So you're now quite clear that in X company I need X size, and then your focus can then be on, and your effort can be on putting finding the right shoe at the right size for you, rather than questioning if it's going to work. So I think it's a good idea actually. Probably not if you were going to spend like £20 on a pair of Clarks or whatever, but like um for what you're looking at and that company, those kind of companies, I think it makes complete sense.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously think so because I did it, but I was honest with each of them. But yeah, they do. They went from like £400 or just under, all the way up to 925, and all slightly different, but all similar. Like a black Oxford is a black Oxford, right? So, but there's so many different kind of small changes in terms of where they're made. Yeah, and how they present. No, but I had a really good time. I really enjoyed it. All the salespeople were very nice. Some lovely looking shoes, like real craftsmanship uh, going on. Um, yeah, so I did buy when I was on the train home. When I got the slow train, I was looking at a secondhand shoe place called Abbott's. I've never heard of it before. I just googled like where to get brand name secondhand shoes, and I found a pair in the exact size and fit that I tried on like 3 hours earlier.
Oh,
Um,
perfect.
Yeah, and it was like almost too good to be true. And I was like, is this real? Like, yeah, I properly looked at it. And I checked my measurements 4 times. So I bought them. So they're Crockett and Jones shoes, and I tried them on in the store, and they were 595 quid. And I tried on 2 sizes and 2 widths, and I was like, okay, you need this size in this width. And I've got wide feet, so I can't have just the standard narrow, which is annoying because loads of shoes are sold in just E width, which is narrow. That pinched my little toe too much, and I found them exactly kind of there, and they're lightly used, and they were £212 delivered.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, compared with 595, and I was like, oh, £200 is a lot. And I thought about it. Would I be sad if in 2 days' time I looked back at this pair of shoes and they'd been sold? And I think
Mm,
actually I probably would.
yeah.
And there's a 14-day window where you can return them. And they arrived today, and they're actually lovely. Um, so they barely look like they've been worn, to be honest with you, and for less than half retail.
Yeah, that is really good, actually, because they'll
Mm.
last you now forever. They're such good
Yeah,
shoes.
and you can get them resold should you
Yes.
need, and I'll look after them, etc. I've got all the caring kit and stuff that I need. But yeah, there were people there picking up shoes, and they're just dropping over £1,000 on one pair, and I was like, oh, I'm not. This shop's a bit rich for me at this point. I won't wear them every day, um, but I will wear them when I go into the office for work.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, and to other things. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't nip in and be like, just can I try some of these shoes on? Um, yeah. So yeah, that's that. Turns out I think it was a reasonable idea. Okay, shall I do a quick summary?
yes.
Cool, because we're getting on kind of 40 minutes or so. Right. So our return on heartbeats is both of us from different angles saw the RAF procession for the King's birthday fly over London. Alex was on Waterloo Bridge, and I was standing outside a fire station I think, near Covent Garden or something. Anyway, it was both really good. We really enjoyed it. Secondly, we've talked about work sabbaticals. Alex, the accountant's arranged a 3-month sabbatical later this year. So, in a couple of kind of ways, he's managed it. One, discuss with your employer, understand their terms around it, what's doable, what's not doable. B, plan your finances. You're not going to get paid, so you need to meet your current obligations. Think about how those will change. add a little bit as a contingency as well. I think we never assume that something will go exactly to plan, so bake in a little bit of wiggle room. And 3, or C, around that, decide what you're going to do with it. You don't want to be deciding after you're off, so plan your time effectively. And he'll use it a little bit to like discover what he does and doesn't like. They planned a little holiday as well, and some of that has been funded by having lodgers living at home with them, and also a nice return on the money you've saved from having solar panels fitted and paying less gas and electricity. But yeah, it'd be super interesting to see if your fire plan changes as a result, or you just double down, or you just kind of pivot a little bit around that. And I think key thing, again, initially, that you planted some seeds that actually this is an idea that I've had. Is it doable out the gate? And just timing it really as well. Because if you're asked to take time off when your work's super busy, they're probably going to be like, no. If you plan it in a lull and you plan it way in advance, you don't just drop a big idea and a bit of panic on them. Generally, I think people's chances are good, but fundamentally, you have to be able to meet your financial obligations without 3 months' pay, which, Alex, you said you've spent 7 months or so planning. So it's not a spur of the moment, want to quit type thing. It's a let's think about how we can do this between you and your wife and your employers as well. And lastly, for me, we think it's entirely reasonable to just size yourself for shoes and then buy a second-hand pair with paying retail for those. That's been episode 93. Alex, have you got any other thoughts?
No, that was a great summary. And yeah, thanks everybody for listening. And yeah, please get in touch if you have any questions, feedback. We'd love to hear from you.
None of what we discuss on the show is to be considered financial or health advice, and we recommend you always do your own research or consult an independent financial advisor or a doctor when making your financial or health decisions.